Could you imagine what it'd be like today if women didn't have equal rights? Well, thanks to women rights activists, we don't have to. And in particular today, we'll be discussing Emily Cady Stanton. So she was born in Johnstown, New York in 1815 and graduated from the Emma Willard Troy Female Seminary in 1832. And during this time period, she would visit her cousin a lot, who was very involved in the women's rights movement, so that kind of got her interested in it, but she didn't join it until later on in her life. In 1840, she got married to Henry Stanton, who is also a reformer and fought for the abolishment of slavery. And they would kind of do this together, and according to the History.com article called Elizabeth Cady Stanton, written in 2009, their marriage, at their ceremony, she insisted that the word obey be dropped from their wedding vows. During this time, her and her husband would go to events to abolish slavery, but sadly, women were not allowed in these conventions. So that's kind of what got her into women's rights, was she would kind of protest outside of these conventions for women's rights to be allowed into this convention. But she definitely got more involved later on in her life. In 1848, Elizabeth helped with several other women to form the very first women's rights convention at Seneca Falls. And at this convention, she read the Declaration of Sentiments, which is basically a list of grievances on how women should be more involved in the movement and fight for their rights. And over this convention, 12 resolutions were passed to help women's rights. And later in the 1800s, Elizabeth and Susan B. Anthony became close friends due to their passion for this movement. And together they would travel the country and basically promote and fight for women's rights, such as rights for divorce, temperance, abolition, voting, married women, property rights, and many more. And because of their efforts, the two biggest groups in 1890 came together to help them form the National Women's Suffrage Association. And according to this article, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, by Women's History, published in 2009, Elizabeth became the first president of the NWSA, and she also worked and edited for the association's journal called Revolution. Later on in her life, since she could no longer travel, she would write books and publish them about women's suffrage and the movement and her experience in it. And then unfortunately, she passed away in October of 1902, which was 18 years before women could actually vote. But her efforts definitely didn't go unnoticed, and she is known as one of the main women involved in the women's rights movement. Overall, she contributed much of her life fighting for equality, and it definitely paid off. Without Emily and many of the other activists mentioned in my classmates' speeches, who knows where we would be without them today. Yay.